So, Wayne, I hear you're putting on some kind of concert. That's good.
Destroyer foundered.
Roger.
Enemy cruiser destroyed. Our team has taken the lead.
People need to be entertained. They need the distraction. That's good.
Ship foundered.
That's good.
Enemy battleship sunk.
I wish to God that somebody would do something to block out the voices in my head for 5 minutes.
Smoke generator start.
That's good.
Ship destroyed. Our victory is in sight.
Voices that scream over and over.
We destroyed an enemy cruiser.
Why do they come to me to die? Why do they come to me to die? That's good.
Okay.
Our victory is in sight.
Hey everybody, welcome back. It's Business, and yeah, I got a video for you. And hopefully I've got a bunch more as I'm hopefully figuring out this window of time that I can actually do this shit for you guys. Because ultimately, the whole thing, and I've mentioned this before, is that the YouTube channel serves the stream now, and that's been my priority for quite a while, and especially because the tiering system for things for giveaways and stuff. You know, if we get more stuff to give away based off of our numbers overall with YouTube or Twitch, blah blah blah. So I'm just trying to maintain that basically at this point, because there's no earnings on YouTube for me ever again unless like some shit goes viral with like 400 million views. So, which obviously is never going to happen. Sure as hell not for this game or anything like that. So, so by that I mean the algorithms have, because I've uploaded so infrequently, the algorithms have basically pushed me out of any possibility of YouTube meaning anything to me beyond those things. And the fact that I really enjoy editing, I just don't have the time to really do it anymore. You know, lost my job because I had the flu, and then got dental surgery because the flu medication fucked up my mouth basically because of how it drained and stuff. I don't know how they explained it. I was medicated at the time. That's the explanation I got. Anyways, I needed dental surgery, so that was fun. Then I got a new job, and then there's this goddamn construction going on outside, and it's like it's 100 feet away from like from where I'm sitting right now, maybe 150 feet away. It's the next lot over. They tore down the building, and it took them a while to do that. And basically during that that construction process, or well, the demolition process, like I'm on the 3rd floor of a condo, and my monitors were wobbling for just like hours in the morning. And so all that noise would transmit right into the microphone, of course, and that prevented me from being able to do any type of recording. And of course, late night is when I generally stream, although that's probably going to be changing to some degree, maybe. But the late night is when I have the energy for streaming, but I can't follow a stream anymore with recording because it keeps my ass up for too long. So anyhow, here we are, we're playing the mains, and this is something that I was going through the clips. I was like, okay, what the hell am I going to do for Giggles 48? Well, I really wanted to show this replay because it's a great game. with a ship that I really enjoy playing. And this is, I recorded this apparently December 1st of 2019. So it was around that time that I played this match. And this was one of the last matches I had in the mains. And I had a phenomenal time with this ship because it's basically a tier 8 German Cleveland. There's all sorts of similarities there, of course. But essentially, the more I looked at the replay, I was like, you know, this is also a subject that has been coming up a lot, is the reuse, basically the assets that get reused over and over again for the game. And it's something that people ask where the Slava is, and I'm like, well, the Slava's not coming back unless, you know, they can change something significant about it, because it frankly, of course, was overpowered. I showed you that over and over again on stream, and we've got a video of it on YouTube that really shows that it's fucking ridiculous and doesn't need to be in the game. Now, I really don't care. I want that damn ship to come to the game because of how shitty it is to play battleships. And that sounds like, you know, I don't know, that sounds really messed up, but at the same time, if you had played it, if you had all played it, you would know, like, there's some joy to be had with that shit. There really is. There's nothing quite like dropping a 4 Citadel salvo on a broadside Yamato 25 kilometers away, and he had no chance to react. Because the shells got there like 10 seconds or something like that. Some crazy number. I think it's actually more like 12, but whatever. I mean, that's still incredibly fast. Anyhow, the reason why you don't see the Slava, at least for the time being, is because they have no investment amount in there. There's no return on investment that they require, because it's an exact copy of the Kremlin. And if it was something that they had done differently, like a ship that they had, you know, built from the ground up, they would absolutely find a way to get that into the game. But because it's a carbon copy, other than the actual stats of the ship, it's something that they don't need to bring to the game. Now, if you look at something like the Siegfried, a ship that we don't know what the hell happened to, that ship is most definitely going to come to the game at some point. When and in what fashion, I have no idea. In like any of the differences, the changes to it, I have no idea at all. But this is what happened to ships like the Yahagi, the actually, what's the shitty destroyer at tier 6 or 7, the Japanese one? I can't remember. That's how bad, like, that it just disappeared off my radar because I didn't care for it. God, I can't think of it. But so like that ship, the Veribus Unitas, is a great example too. A lot of, you know, noise and fuss made over that, and then it just disappeared, and then suddenly, boom, it's on everybody's doorstep in like what, September or something like that. They just chucked those ships out one after the other during a month-and-a-half period there, and nobody knew they were coming. So they're going to get a return on their investment if they put the man hours into working on it, right? Because these ships do take a lot of work, and they've expressed that before, where it takes 6 months to do the research and the development of the modeling itself. And I really don't think anybody can disagree with the idea that the best part of this game, in terms of the most consistent and the most impressive part, would be the modeling team. They do a hell of a fucking job with this, and you know, just the sheer level of detail, the sheer amount of things that they have to create or place and things like that. It's an amazing amount of work, and I highly respect the modeling team, even though they, you know, as far as the historical accuracy is concerned, there's plenty of inconsistencies there. From what people point out, I would never notice them, but because I just don't know enough about the damn ships to begin with. But anyhow, what we're looking at here with the mains is a high-level German cruiser hull. Whether it's I think it's closer to the Hipper than the Hindenburg, but either way, it's similar to those. But it has the Nuremberg turrets. Okay, that's not that big a deal. But when you start looking at all the premiums over the last year, you start looking at things about, like, hey, okay, this is this ship, but with this on it. it starts to get a little weird, and it starts to also kind of underscore the fact that there's really, I don't want to say there's not much left in the tank for the game, because you know they're going to have to recreate as much as they can from the assets they have. I think that has to be expected because it's a business, and if they make one ship that ends up being able to help create 4 or 5 others, and those are premiums or whatever, they're going to have a much, much higher return on every subsequent ship, of course, because they have to dedicate less resources to the development of it. Well, then you start seeing how many ships they actually do that with. It's a lot. I've got a few examples, but you know, there are some ships that certainly receive much more of an overhaul than others. The Yashima actually is a good example. The upcoming test ship that basically is the Yamato hull, but you know, some differences on the superstructure, the AA secondaries, and it has 20-inch guns. And obviously, those types of turrets are not necessarily modeled. I mean, they're going to be slightly different in terms of, you know, this, that, the armor, whatever the case is. And this is when shit really starts hitting the fan here, because now I'm the focus of 2 carriers. Luckily, one of them is a Ranger, and luckily the other is the Kaga. So I actually have whatever's left of my AA at this point. I have a good chance of, you know, responding and hopefully shooting some of these planes down. Now, the problem is, it doesn't really fucking matter, because it doesn't change how much damage I take from these. Yeah.
People need to be entertained. They need the distraction.
Most certainly do, Glenn. So, the thing about that is, you're taking, whenever you're shooting planes down, of course, you're taking the back part of the planes off, not the attacking phase, but the remainder of those planes. So until you actually kill all the planes that are attacking you, you don't diminish the attack at all, which is just fucking stupid. But yeah, I'm obviously really enjoying myself here, especially as wave after wave of planes continue to come in. So I was really hoping for Citadels on that shot against the Kaga, but I figured I was dead here, so I just went all in on the Ranger. And then I'm like, oh shit, I might have an extra second here to be able to do something. The Torps hit and kill the Ranger, and I didn't get the Citadels that I was hoping for there either, but overpenned the hell out of them. Yeah, so somehow managed to dodge against a rocket attack, which I really did not expect. And we've got time working against us here as the Kaga's coming in with the planes. The rockets are coming fast, and we've got one more salvo to give before we get killed, and we got him. And I'm not sure if you noticed how close the Kaga's planes were, but I sure as hell did. 1.4 kilometers. That's like, he's attacking right now. Like, the rockets were just about to be on the way. So, shot down a shitload of planes, 60 of them, 212.9k with 3,000 base XP. Very, very fun ship to play. Most fun I've had in a while, actually, for testing ships. But anyhow, just going back to it, this is the Tier 10 French destroyer, the Marceau. Now, the hull may look familiar, and a few things may look familiar. It's the Kleber hull with the Henry Torps, and I'm not joking about that, the Henry Torps. And those turrets may look similar to something you've seen before. They're the Colbert turrets. Yeah, it's this type of stuff that kind of makes me worried, because the more stuff that we see like this, I feel like it's going to be even more focused on than it already is, and on premiums driving the game and the differences between nations and stuff like that, because then we start getting into even more the bullshit gimmickry that we really don't need. And it's tough, because it's like, we can't get different game modes because standard battle is already too difficult, and I'm not joking. Standard battle is already too difficult for the majority of players as it is. And I wish I was joking about that, but it's true. And I mean, Wargaming has not necessarily specifically said that, but they kind of more than implied it. So they you know, it's why we have things like arms race and things like that for certain game modes, like, you know, or for certain events, but we won't get it in the regular game because people don't fucking get it, and that's scary as hell to me. Because the more players, the longer the game goes on, the lower the average skill gets. The more players we have added to the game, the lower the average skill gets. That's how that works. And you know, people can play thousands of games and they will not improve, and they already have issues with something as simple as standard battle, and that kind of gets me thinking then maybe we should remove the whole points thing away from standard battle. Because I mean, look at World of Tanks. I'm not trying to say it's doing everything better, because obviously it's not. I'm simply saying standard battle in that game is strictly kill all, or you cap. So why don't we just actually do that for standard battle to make it different instead of this domination bullshit? But then again, we also don't have 3-minute matches with the frequency of World of Tanks, of course. And it's one of those things where everything's a really delicate balance on time versus, you know, how much, I guess, the analytics and everything on Wargaming's end. They know how basically however much time a person is playing a game, what they're spending on average for each minute or each hour that they're playing the game. And when you start thinking about shit like that, you can start to understand why they would want to reuse assets and stuff. But it concerns me, and I'm not thinking that the subs are really going to bring anything other than sheer stupidity to the game, because so long as those homing torpedoes are involved, subs are a fucking joke. And that's that, as far as I'm concerned. If you're not going to allow players to actually have skill kind of determine things, and if you're going to be so insistent upon having these stupid fucking gimmicks, then the games just don't bring that to the game at all. It's not going to do the game any favors. It's going to piss people off, and you're going to lose the established players that have been with the game and spending with the game for a while. It's just, I don't get what they're doing. I don't get where they're going. And there's still a game here that I really enjoy playing, and I think it's fascinating for what it provides, because there are so many things that this game just does that no other game has ever really done for me. You know, good and bad. But it's frustrating because I don't know. Does anybody know where this game is going right now? Because it seems like a total crapshoot. It's weird. So, yeah, there's a lot of things going on with my perception of the game right now, and I know a lot of people are feeling that too. And this isn't anything other than me kind of getting the thoughts out there. I'm just rambling. You know, thoughts of an old man yelling at clouds, whatever the fuck. You know, the idea is that I think it's important to kind of catalog these things as they come up, because, you know, look back at it later and be like, wow, we went from having space battles, you know, once a year to that's the actual game now. We're at tech tree level, you know, 30, and this is what the ships are doing. You know, man, can you remember the game when it was like this back in 2020? But yeah, so I really don't know what their plans are with the game. I'm confused about their direction with it. And don't ask this situation. I have no idea why I switched over to the Massachusetts there, but that was stupid. That was dumb. I don't know what I was thinking. That was a huge mistake. And I don't know, maybe I shouldn't have tried to piss him off and shoot at him and make him really want to shoot me, but yeah, that's neither here nor there. You know, what's funny about the Colbert, though, is I've really grown to enjoy playing the ship. Playing against it is still a fucking nightmare, but the thing about the ship is that it's so rare by comparison to the other ship that I was expecting to be better balanced, which is the Smolensk. Now, I want to throw this out there for, God damn it, people. I do not know what a ship is going to be released for, when it's going to be released, blah blah blah. When we're testing the ships, they don't let us know that. So I say this all the damn time, but the ships that we're testing, they don't announce what they're going to be for, whether like how they're going to be attained or anything, until they announce them to you as well. So when you know, I know, and that's that. So the fact that this ship was for the the Naval Training Center, along with the Ohio, pretty much guaranteed that this ship was going to be far less frequent than the Ohio. And that's just not even thinking about the Smolensk. The Smolensk being for coal is totally different than this being for research bureau points and all that. It's totally fucking different. And it's no wonder we have so many of the damn Smolensks, because I really thought that this would be more of the problem, because you could take away so much less with this ship and actually have it be functional by comparison to the Smolensk, which had the smoke and fire chance that you could get rid of, which would seriously change that ship. And that's just not what happened. And it sucks, because then it's like people are like, oh, well, you guys didn't bother, telling them that the Smolensk need to be balanced. Oh, fucking course I did. Of course I did. And so did everybody else. People don't get it.
I'd never done a crazy thing in my life before that night.
I don't get it. Why are the destroyers just throwing themselves away? Like, why did they come to me to die?
Why is it? If a man kills another man in battle, it's called heroic. Yet if he kills a man in the heat of passion, it's called murder. Hello!
God, I love that character. He's got this, like, undercurrent. It's just right there, right underneath the surface of palpable rage. And this philosophical shit that he's always wanted to talk about. He's a black hole around everybody else, just sucking them in. Just the polar opposite of everybody, and it's so funny. Lends a whole different gravity to the scene. But anyhow, as far as
that's good.
As far as game balance is concerned, as we get with her right there, things have really changed in terms of how we deliver it, and I'm not really sure what I can and can't say, but there's a reason why spreadsheets are a meme, for better or worse with the game, and it's true. So basically everything to do with spreadsheets is true, and I guess I'll leave it at that. But let this be an example to not switch to AP when you're playing the Colbert and you're just not close enough to do what you need to be doing, because I might have been able to prevent this ram situation, but luckily for him, somebody else did. So, yeah, glad that worked out for him, because I would have felt responsible for that, and I just don't want to feel that way. But this ended up being a match that I really didn't expect to have this type of level of result, because I don't really have really high damage games very often, but especially with the Colbert, which I've never had a game even close to this. But anyhow, hopefully you had a good laugh with some of the stuff today, and I will see you back here next time. Thanks for watching, everybody. Take care.